I put myself on a 15-minute timer, so let's see if I can do it. Because I'm very busy and important and I have to go out and change the world today. If we were all on our top team, what would be your superpower in order to make an influence to somebody today? Because I know a lot of us avoid thinking about what I can do for others. And I know a lot of us go the other way, which is I can't possibly do enough for others, and either way we're kind of incapacitated, and then we get busy thinking about whatever it is. If we were all together now and said, listen, right, let's put our heads together. What are you good at? What are you good at? What are you good at? What resources do you have? What's your area of brilliance? What's your learning curve? Where have you been in your life where you've really screwed it up? What did you learn and what do you want to do with that? What makes you really angry and compelled? And what would you like to do with that if you were to take it from being this frustrating, keep me small thing and use it to inspire somebody else? What is your superpower? If we were all to get together and say, listen, let's do some good today. We may be feeling terrible about whatever it is, but if we turn our attention outward for a second and see if we can help ourselves feel good by impacting somebody else and making a connection with somebody else, what is it that you're good at doing? Even if that is, I'm good at avoiding. Well, then you're probably good at feeling anxious and overwhelmed. So you can empathize with other people who feel anxious and overwhelmed. And if you lift your head, you might be able to just catch the gaze of somebody and give them a knowing smile and send them on their way. That can change somebody's whole day and existence, truly. We think about the kind of ripple effect that things have. You know, really, at one point in life, this is my little momentary fantasy, maybe we're all up there somewhere looking down and seeing the power with which we can influence other people by just looking at them differently, smiling at, talking to them differently, using a different tone of voice. How that can impact, if I look at this lady and smile, the difference of how she receives somebody here when she gets to the other end of the street, for example. We all have these 6 human needs that Tony Robbins talks about very brilliantly, and if you don't know about that stuff, get to know about that stuff, because it's profound. Because as he's saying, for example, if something we do meets 3 of our human needs, namely certainty, uncertainty, variety, growth, contribution, significance, certainty, love and connection. If we do something, for example, like smoking, that meets 3 of those human needs, we are addicted to that thing. So I was thinking about Mercy Project International yesterday and today, the homeless outreach, and thinking, why is it that people feel so good when they're involved in that? Whether they're sort of, I don't know where this term comes from, service users, whether or not they're homeless, whether or not they're with us as part of our team, people feel incredible. And it is because it hits so many of our human needs. Sense of certainty. I can be sure that somebody's going to get something good today. I can get love and connection. I can feel significant in the world. I can have some sense of contribution, growth, integrity. I mean, you can push in there so many needs and values and influences. The things that we do, that we keep doing, we're addicted to them. In the, excuse me, protein, I think it's a bug. We're addicted to that thing, whether it's in the positive or the negative. What is your superpower? What are you good at doing? Are you really stubborn? In which case, you know, sometimes I meet anorexic people and think, you are so stubborn. That's brilliant. If we use that as a focus for something that actually could feed you, ironically, emotionally, I mean, and influence people from that stubborn place of, no, it has to be this way and that way and so on, we have fantastic ability, and most of us sit with it in the negative, silencing ourselves and so on. What is your superpower, and what would you like to do with it today? Because I can assure you the things that you're addicted to, your rituals, you might get up in the morning and you have all your water or your cigarette or your argument or whatever it might be, everything we are doing and the way we're relating to other people are reflections of our internal dialogue and our internal struggle. If we're having arguments outside of us, it's reflecting arguments inside of us, etc. And it's an indicator, you know really where you are on the Richter scale of health and wealth and well-being, dependent on the interactions you're having with other people. So I can guarantee when I get off this call, I'm going to walk down the street, and every single person I'm going to meet, there's going to be a smile, a how are you, and actually answer the question. I'm going to have some coffee down the street and do some work, and I know every exchange will be incredible, even if there's something that happens. I was going to say this unpredicted. Of course, they're all unpredicted. But even if something difficult happens, it is a chance for me to regroup with myself and think, what is my superpower for here? What is this here to teach me? What can I learn from it? How can I become a better person, as opposed to sit in this place of, oh, the world is mean and people are mean? It's always going to be an opportunity for us. And again, I know it's misquoted terribly, but I do like the romantic notion that the Chinese have the same word for crisis and opportunity. That's actually not true, by the way. I thought it was for years. There's nuances in the words and so on. It's very complicated in my mind. However, I like that idea because it does make sense that if I shout at you, for example, there's an opportunity in there for me to say, what is it about me that knows so much about aggression and conflict and challenge and difficulty that this is familiar, and that this is something that I'm prepared to engage my time in? Or is this something that actually I can see, oh, that's going to be difficult. Whatever emotional place they're in, that's going to be difficult. And I don't want it around me. I don't deserve that. And I'm not going to entertain it. Next. What is your superpower? What are you going to do today to change the world from a small little place that can have a big and big and big effect? Do you know what sometimes is wonderful when I'm in meetings or groups or whatever, is as a facilitator, is to start the group to say, what was your experience of getting here? There is always such a story about what it is. Oh, my car broke down, or my husband didn't leave me the money for whatever, or I lost my key, or I bumped into an old friend, or I didn't want to come here and I vomited on the way, or whatever it is. What is it that you can do to actually get addicted to seeing what's going on outside of you? Not about ego and me, and all this stuff, but actually, what influence can I have on the world? Which can send a ripple effect. Really, madly, truly, deeply, a ripple effect. How I talk to this policeman, for example, is going to have an effect on his day, on his psychology. It's not to say he necessarily wants to take in anything I say, but it is going to influence him somehow. And it is our right and our choice how we want to send energy around the planet. There was a man, actually, just quickly, he's been away, he's at a club that I go to, and he arrived, and I said to a friend of mine, can you feel how the energy of this place just completely changes in his presence? And my friend, who's very sort of clinical, I suppose, said, yeah, I can. And I said, really? I was surprised. And he said, yeah. So I told the guy, because I'm like that, please do that. It's really wonderful when we sort of push it a little bit. And I said, you know, we all notice that the energy of a place changes when you walk in. Do you know that about you? And he's like, no. And of course he brushed it off. And I said, how about you take the compliment? Because even Joe Bloggs, who we all know doesn't want to have emotional conversations, got really excited to have a conversation with me about how you bring such light and brightness to conversations. That impacted everybody, that closeness and connect. And it's an influencer. How would you like to influence? I'm sending you big love. I must go and live my life in the best way I can. I'm just checking if there's any messages here. Okay, so let's get focused. Do you have a superpower? Put a 1 in the box, because you fucking do, and I will have you if you think you don't. So what is it? What is my superpower? What is it I'm able to do, even if it's in a terrific negative? And if it is, put a Q in the box. I'll give it a couple minutes because I'm on a timer. Put a Q in the box if you really have no idea, and I'll help you see that it is profound. Q in the box. Do you have a superpower? Put a 1 in the box. Own it. Own it. There's nobody out there like you. Nobody. Nobody's had your experience. Nobody has had the opportunities you've had, good, bad, and indifferent. Do you have a superpower? Do you know what it is, too? 1, 2. Are you actually going to do something with that superpower? Even if it is to buy somebody's coffee today, or to tell somebody, I can't do that today, or I won't do that today. That can be a gift to people, because it means somebody else has the opportunity to step in and help them. Or they have the opportunity to step in and help themselves. You are empowering people when you say no. You're a role model to say, I deserve me. We can think about, what is it that I have to offer here, and allow life to help us get it. If it's for the greater good, we need to get ourselves into a position where we're in alignment with that thing. If for the greater good it is that I stay home and work on my website, then that can have a ripple effect in many different ways than if I do something else. You get my point. Do you have a superpower? Do you know what it is? If I don't see 1s and 2s in these boxes, I'm just going to be like, are you going to do something with it? Regardless. And it can be very, and should be in my opinion, and I never really use the word should because I don't like it as a word. It can start small, because it's actually not small. There will be somebody around here who's having a hideous life at the moment, and I smile at them, and that may frustrate them, but something will stick in their mind to say, I'm worthy of a smile, or maybe she saw something in me she liked, or whatever. It's going to trigger something. It's going to trigger a feeling at the very least, and we need to feel, which is why it's an epidemic to be watching all this angry stuff on TV, because we need to feel stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, I can see. What is 4? Oh, we haven't said 4. Let's have a 4. Give somebody some positive feedback from a real place, not fudge it, from a real place. Because we're so quick to say what we don't like, right? Some positive feedback. What can there be? I don't know. Yesterday I was in a place and the woman turned the music down so I could do a video. And she offered to do that, actually. And I said, this, that's over and above. I really appreciate it. And actually, I think it was an important video. And I've mentioned you. And actually, your backside is in it. So do you want to have a look? And she was like, oh, that's fantastic. Just give people the gift of your attention in the positive. Sending big love.